Hi, so I guess we are live now. So I'm Anush. I'll be hosting this session today on behalf of IET's Hacktoberfest 2020, which is in collaboration with GDG Ranchi, Code Silence, Coding Blocks, and Progate. And our other partners are DSC, BIT Mesra, MSIT, GTBIT, KCCITM. So first of all, it's very unfortunate to have this online instead of a campus setting, which would have had its own perks. But we are really thankful to the audience here that we could have a successful first session that was definitely beyond the predictable charts. And this is the first day of Hacktoberfest. Yesterday we had our day zero of the Hacktoberfest where we talked about the Hacktoberfest and we talked about what Hacktoberfest actually is. So today we have Vishal Gurai with us. Uh, I'll introduce Vishal once to all of those who do not know him. So Vishal is one of those few people who have indulged themselves completely to the realms of technology. He has inspired not just me, but also a lot of other people to follow up with the exponential growth in technology and the digital infrastructure. He is an open source enthusiast and has actively contributed in the GSOC 2020. And adding the cherry to the top, he is also a technical blogger at Medium, and I would take this opportunity to say that he is as humble as one can be, and please do connect with him on GitHub and LinkedIn. So this was about Vishal. He'll be diving deeper into the GitHub ecosystem today with all of us. So heading over to you, Vishal. I'm sorry, my bad. The screen is all yours. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Anush. Thanks. I wish it was the stage and not the screen, but all right. Today's the session would be on the GitHub ecosystem. So, just a minute. Okay. So today we'll be seeing. Is my screen visible? Just, I'll request the admin to please let my screen be on the stage, and then we can begin. Okay. Okay. Is my screen visible to you? I mean, hello. Okay. Just make my screen visible. If I'm not, okay. I'll reshare. Okay. Okay.
So by the time Vishal B is trying to reconnect with you all, I'll take this moment and let you know what Hacktoberfest is all about. So Hacktoberfest is an attempt by IETE BIT Mesra to make you all aware about the open source community and also celebrate those who are actually involved with it. And so yeah, I think he's back. All right.
Okay. Sorry, there was a glitch. I mean, technical glitch from my end, and I don't know what. Okay. So today's session will be on GitHub ecosystem, right? So today I love to dive deep into what GitHub is, how it is different than Git. Previously, just to mention, we had a talk, as Anup said, we had a talk yesterday on Git and open source as a whole. And then just before this, we had a session on Git where Ekansh Gupta, an acquaintance of mine from DTU, spoke about what Git is, how it can be useful to open source collaborations, and many more. So today, I mean, in this session, I'll be diving into what actually is GitHub. So, okay, and then we'll be giving few examples. I don't have any PPT. I think my voice is. Anush, can you just switch off your mic if it's on? Okay. Uh, just let me search for GitHub. Okay. Okay. So let's go into this. So first of all, what is GitHub? Okay, and how it is different than Git? First of all, Git is the battery which powers the device. Okay, so Git is the thing which powers the ultimate platform like GitHub, code commit, Bitbucket from Atlassian. So basically, it is the Git which is the heart and soul of the body which can be changed. Okay, so in an overall perspective, you can say like there can be multiple alternatives of GitHub, but there is only one Git. And as my friend said, Git is a version control system. You can control version 1, version 2, version 2.1, version 2.5. So that is basically done by Git. But what GitHub is a platform which lets you, have the power of Git, utilize the power of Git, in fact. Okay, so in my agenda, I'll be covering, 10 to 11 things which you must know as a part of GitHub, which will be definitely beneficial when you are from a beginner to a intermediate level, and then definitely later on it will be, just adding on to the words. Okay, so in my agenda, first is the, what a repository is. If you see, just to make things very clear, these are the repositories. Okay, the things which you see here, things which you see here are the repositories. Okay, so these all are repositories. Repository is nothing but a folder in GitHub. It is nothing different than a folder in your laptop. It is simply as a folder in GitHub. So it has just a different terminology, I could say. That is, it is a repository. Okay, fine. So how to read code in a repository? If there's a repository, so if you see a repository, and just imagine if you want to see like let's take Jitsi Meet. So Jitsi is an open source web conference server. It's definitely open source. You can host it in your AWS cloud, and then you all can have a friend conference, like inner friends conference, or you can set it up for your own family. So it's that Jitsi Meet. Okay, so I have forked it repo. Forking, cloning, and these all things are of different aspect. First, let me talk about the code section. Okay, so how you read actually the code section. This is the place where you actually read the code. Okay, these are, as I said, it's just a folder, and as in your laptop, you can have a folder within folder. The same thing is with this. Within a repository, you can have multiple folders, and then in each folder, there'll like I can see iOS. So inside this, definitely there will be file which will be functional on an iOS device, and then I can see another folder, and then there may be scripts. Like I can see like this padlock profile.log, and so this is a script. So basically this is the code section which lets you know the actual code. And it is the best thing about the open source world and the Git and GitHub is that, sorry, GitHub is that it lets you see the production ready code in front of your eyes. Okay, so this is the thing. The second thing in my agenda to talk is, so like this is where you can read the codes. Okay, the second thing which I would love to talk is the licensing part. Okay, what is a license? License in GitHub, first of all, it is very, very necessary. Secondly, uh, it should not be a thing which concern you if you are beginning with GitHub. Like just example, if I can show what a license is. Okay, see, here is a license. See, see, open source. Just for a reference, if you don't know open source, or if you are just, it's your day zero in open source, do visit our previous talk in this GDG profile itself, and it's there. We are discussing what is open source, how a license works, and what is the benefit and what it restricts. So it's all there in the same channel. Apart from this, let me talk you what is a license. So license is basically things which actually controls how you can, how something which you have developed and out of your own wish you have shared with the entire world, you can control things. So this is a new feature, basically not permit, not the license, but this tab is a new feature by GitHub. So you can, at a glance can see what are the things which you are permitted, what are the things you are restricted to do with the license, like the Jitsi Meet. See what are the permissions you have got under this license. This is under the license Apache 2.0. So what you can see, this is commercial, this is available for commercial use, this is available for modification, distribution, patent use, private use, anything you can do. What it has a limitation, what you cannot do it with this is trademark use, liability, and warranty. So you are absolutely restricted in these three terms, and you cannot use Jitsi Meet, which is in fact which is an production ready code right in front of you. You cannot use the trademark. You are not liable. You It is not warranted anymore. So suppose if the same code breaks in your system with very low configuration, so you cannot claim Jitsi organization that, I pulled down your code from GitHub and then I ran it in my system, and then it broke. The code did not work. So you cannot have that kind of a warranty level thing in this. It is clearly stated. And again, the conditions. So this is a license part of GitHub where you can easily see what is available, what is permitted, and what is absolutely restricted, and you cannot use. Okay. Apart from this, one point I would like to mention is you are not required to see the license unless one thing is you or your repository goes viral. Like just for example, see this repository Jitsi Meet has 4.3 thousand folks, and this is used by literally this is used by industries. Like if I can show you. Okay, so this is used by organizations like, see, who is using Jitsi? 8x8, Comcast, Greenpeace, Matrix, Rocket Chat, Symphony, vSchool. So these all organizations actually use Jitsi server. So it is the production ready code which you are getting in GitHub, and this is the actual thing. So there must be a way to control these things, like who can add, who can contribute, how you can use, is it available for commercially, or just it's so much of superficial things. So that is the thing about license. Okay. Apart from this, the third thing is I would talk about is a README. Okay. What is a README? So I even talked this in my previous discussion with two of my colleagues, and I would still say it this time. Let's open a README. What a README looks like is, see, this is Jitsi Meet, and see, if you can see, this is the README. So README is the documentation, and the most, I could say, the strongest statement I have ever heard about documentation is in Twitter. Someone tweeted that documentation is the love letter you write to the future you. So I think it's not only future you, but it's about future people who will work on the same project as you are working. So it's not like Jitsi Meet. I have made the Jitsi Meet, and then when I pass off and when I'm gone, Jitsi Meet will be no more. No, 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 no. There will be people, there will be organizations which will be contributing, which will be coming to me, and they will actually use it. They will actually contribute. They will add features. They will add different layouts. So this is the part. This is the cycle. This goes on. So this README gives you actual documentation of how it is used, what is the actual use case, where it is not feasible, how to install, how to set it up in your home environment. So all I can say is README is the documentation, and the most famous code. Documentation is the love letter you write to your future you. So it's all there. Jitsi Meet is secure, simple, scalable video conference application, and then see, you can see the entire thing which you must know before installing is there in the README. You can see download, how it is. It's the stable version. It's the testing. It's nightly built. Then mobile apps. Then contributing development security. How secure it is. So it's like coming out and telling the world that this is this much secure. This can have loopholes. This can be so much developed. This is the nightly build. This is the stable build. So these are the things which is covered in a README. Okay, so it's just a basic whole. You can say the idea or the project is wrapped up in the README file. Okay. Next important thing is the wiki. You know, and I would personally like to talk about this is because Wiki is very less known by people who know actually GitHub. I would tell you the reason why, because whenever you go for whenever you go for a repository, you can easily find the README page. So I showed you this is the README page, but do you know what a wiki is? Just by the word you can relate it to the Wikipedia is the vast ocean of knowledge, and that is the same concept put here in GitHub. So GitHub wikis are basically related to repositories. So each repository can have one wiki. Each repository can have one wiki, mind it. Okay. And what a wiki is uh, I should say the super scale of README. Okay, so excuse me. So what a README does is README gives you the brief idea. Like you can see, Jitsi Meet is so and so, how to install, how to download. This is the. But if it has a wiki page, it will be more elaborated. What the technologies are used, how the components are interacting, in what platform you can use, how much GB of RAM it is required, what under what circumstances it won't work. These are the things which are elaborated in a wiki page and not in a README. Just a minute, if I'll show you. Uh, Wiki page. Does this have a wiki page? I mean, oh, okay. So you can find the wiki page in each repository in this section. Uh, okay. Now you'll say this does not have a wiki. So mind it, this is my repository. Okay. So I have not created my own wiki for this Jitsi, but uh, I'm just I'm just suppose that this must have a wiki in its own. Okay, so here it is. This is the wiki page. Wiki is the super scale of README. Wiki has each and everything in detailed version. Okay, and you can see wiki is deprecated. Okay, so the wiki is deprecated, but you can still rely on this because this is the actual, I could say the constructive blocks on which the Jitsi is made. Okay, for users, this is troubleshooting, browser support for admins. See, I told you these things actually make the project. See, LDAP authentication, Jitsi Meet with this, Etherpad addition, how Jitsi Meet encryption is implemented, and so many things. And not only this, the best thing about wiki is it lets you modify so many aspects. You can put a scrollable like sidebar as it is, like adding Android SDK for third party fully native project, and then Nginx SSL example, Jitsi Meet encryption, and so many. So you see a entire I should say a kind of a website in which you can find all things indexed very very briefly. Suppose if I want to see only what is the encryption used, so I'll come to the wiki page and simply like say Jitsi Meet encryption, and then I'll go to the Jitsi Meet encryption. So I'll not look into other aspects. I need not know how to install. I need not know what are the use cases. I just need to know what is the encryption. So this is the platform. This is the way you can actually get not only Jitsi. Let's come over to like Flutter. If I can say Flutter, GitHub. So this is the Flutter. Flutter is an open source, I should say, app development, native app development, cross-platform. It's both iOS and iOS and Android. So see, this is the wiki page. Now you'll see such a small info, but don't just contain in this thing. See the right-hand side. It has so many things: home, roadmap, API references, glossary, and then processes, release process, rolling dart, and so many things. Like engine repo, and wiki is the best place to find each and every nitty gritty detail about an open source software. So I personally prefer wiki, not because it simply has a different page than the actual project, but because it offers great level of formatting. The actual formatting you can do in wiki is huge. You can add a sidebar, you can add a footer, you can add a header, and you can actually categorize things into different things. Like see, engine repo is another thing, framework repo is different, then process is different. So my personal preference is, if you are making a great project, a big project, or even if you are starting a project, go with the wiki page to elaborate each nitty gritty detail. But definitely you must have a README. Now, the last point in this section about README and wiki is README is a must. README, you should have a README. There can be a repository without a README, no doubt. But README is a must. README is step 0 and wiki is step 10. So there may be projects which does not have a wiki page, but you must have a README. That is a must. Okay. Um, Apart from this, the other changes, I should say, like formatting and all things are done. Detailed installation process and each and every categories are covered in this wiki section. Apart also in this, I think. Okay, let's open GitHub again. Uh, let's say okay. In this okay, my next topic is pull request. Okay, so what a pull request actually is, uh, uh, you must okay, sorry, you must be knowing what a pull request is, what a push and pull is. But just for a brief, if you are sending your own code changes to me, suppose I am the owner, I am building a project in which I want, I'm building a distributed system project, and then you are sending your code changes to me, then you are actually sending a pull request. You are sending a pull request to me so that I can, grab your code changes to mine and then merge it into it. So where you can see actually is, like last year we had Hacktoberfest. So me and one of my seniors had were the collaborators for it. So you can see this is the section where you can see the pull request. Okay, pull request is basically each person's code changes to your repository. So here you can say Sharon's personal card added, tap task 3 trapping rainwater, basic CP template added, task 1 then added JS reference. So you know uh, these all are pull requests. The black bold letters you see, this is the basic heading. And if you open this, okay, so if you open this is the kind of a subject thing, and this is actual the body. So if you are contributing to a large repository, then you must, and it should be the thing in your mind, to add a very concise brief subject but a very detailed explanation of what you have done, what code changes you have done, and why we should accept it, like why is the need to accept it. So this is the body part and this is the subject part. So make it very clear about, making the subject as brief as possible and making the body as detailed as possible. Okay, pull request is done, and insights. Yeah, insights. Where is the insight? Okay. So code is done. Issues. I talked about no issues. So what is a GitHub issues is? Suppose I'm building a project and I want some changes to be done, but I'm not able to do it, or suppose I don't have time to do it, or suppose uh, like there can be many things which I'm not able to do in my repository. So I open an issue. Not only me, even you can open an issue in my repository. Suppose this is the Hacktoberfest website, and you find something very buggy in this. You find something not good in this website. So you open the issue, like task 1, explain how to render HTML page. So you know opened by someone. So this is the issue page which is opened by someone else in our repository. So it basically is telling that there is an issue in your repository. Please, please try to do some changes, or try to, or assign me to have the changes. So this is the issue section. Okay. Pull request I've talked about. GitHub Actions. This is the best thing about GitHub. This is basically adding CI/CD pipeline, that is continuous integration and continuous deployment pipeline to it. I'll not talk about it now because my talk is basically for beginners to intermediate level. Okay, so from beginner to intermediate, you are not going to need it anywhere. So GitHub Action is a very high level concept. It basically sets up a CI/CD pipeline. As soon as you push in your code to the actual repository, it will do all kinds of checks. It will do everything which you have set up, and if it is found error free, then only it will be merged. So it's a high level concept. So let's make it for a different thing. Projects. We'll talk about it later. Wiki page I have explained. Security is basically I should say advanced topic, but here you have basically the keys. The key to a repository, the SSH key or the private keys, which you don't want to show to the world. So security is self-explanatory. The things which you want to have in a repository, but you don't want to expose it to entire world, like the API keys, like your passwords, like your private key. So those things you can have in security. Insights is an important thing to look on. Okay, so what is the insight is, this pulse. This first option does is it gives you the whole idea of these things. So pulse is a kind of overview of what you will find in all these things. So you can see this is the overview: 16 active pull requests, 2 active issues, and then I have so many issues, sorry, pull requests, and then okay, how many contributors are there. So you can see, then same thing, if you open the contributors, you will see he's my senior, so he has contributed this much, I've contributed this much, and then we have people contributing to the project, and then community, traffic, commits, code frequency, how frequently the code is being pushed. So if you read the graph, you'll definitely understand this dependency graph. Just a minute. Okay. Okay. Then network, forks, how many people have forked it. So this is the place where you can find how many people have actually forked the repository. So I can see many, and the list goes on. So actually, it went viral last year. I mean, 225 folks. So it's a great thing. Okay, so this is the basic of each and everything which you must know what to do in a GitHub repository. You can explore each and every aspect of a repository in terms of its code contribution, in terms of its who is the owner, in terms of how frequently the code is pushed, in terms of what features it is there, what feature you have noticed, what issues are there, what you can solve. So this is the whole and sole idea. What like okay, so after this, one thing I would like to talk about is which is very less known is GitHub Gist. Okay, what a gist is. So a GitHub repository is for sharing the entire project, sharing the entire code. Fine. What about if you want to share something which is not an entire project? If it's just a code snippet, this is covered by Gist. GitHub Gist. GitHub Gist is basically a one-page website, you can say, where you can actually share code snippets, where you can share formulae, where you can share anything you can imagine of, not much of, frequency or much significance, but you want to communicate with someone else. Just to relate it with a story, last year I wanted to have something like, let's suppose a code snippet which would rectify my website. Okay, so I asked my senior, like, how will you give it to me, because he did not have my email ID. So he said, how will I give it? Like, I don't know, like we did not have each other's email ID. So what he did is he quickly opened the GitHub Gist, he pasted the code there and sent me the link, and then I easily opened it and then pulled down the code. So it basically works like Google Docs. What you It's real time sharing. So GitHub Gist is actually that. And even interesting and fascinating thing about GitHub Gist is you can actually make a gist private. Private just means there's only the link. Sorry, you can only share the link with whom you want to share the code snippet. Suppose you don't want to share it with the entire world. You only want to share it with two people. So you will share the GitHub Gist private link with only two people, and only two people will access to it. Let's suppose I'll show you what a gist is. Just dot. Okay. So this is my gist. Okay, so view your gist. So yeah, this is my gist. Okay, so if you can see, okay, so this is my gist. Last time we were working on this repository, like this entire Hacktoberfest idea, and there we discovered how to make a repository or a folder in GitHub from the terminal. Okay, so this was the thing which came to my mind, and I knew like I would forget this. I knew I would forget this. So, I put it in a safe place. I wanted to put it in a safe place, and then I got to know about the concept of gist, and then I saved it. So it's there. It's every time in my there. So you can just, this is, I think, a public thing, I should say. Uh, I think it's public. Yeah, it's a public gist. So what you can do is you can simply make a gist. It solely depends on you whether you want to make it private or public, and then you can come and share it with the world. Like I wanted to share it with the entire world. How to make a repository directly from local terminal. So it exists. It's kind of a hack, you can say, and you can do it. Like if you have Git Bash installed, do this, and you'll get it. A repository made directly from your local terminal to your remote GitHub uh, account. And one interesting thing about this is it is exactly like Readme. It is written in Markdown language, so you can have all sorts of code formatting and everything. So I've added a note for myself and for the people who will come and see this. Even commas matter. More specifically, even exchanging double quote for a single quote will produce error. So it's kind of a note to myself, because once I replace these double quotes, this double quote and this double quote with a single quote, and it did not work. So it's kind of a reminder to myself, and I have put it down very specifically in a note section. So you can do it as well. So this is about the GitHub gist. The last thing which I want to talk about in GitHub is, I think I've covered. Okay, so last thing is the best thing. I should say Hacktoberfest. Let's sum up everything, like last 5 minutes. Let's sum up with Hacktoberfest. The Hacktoberfest is actually a month-long celebration of developers willing to contribute out of their own will without any financial assistance. Like, I want to contribute to Jitsi Meet because I want to do it. It's not because I will get money from it. No, it's not because somebody somebody will like financial sponsor me or something. No, no, no. I just want to contribute because I want to, I want to have my core contribution to the Jitsi server. So it's kind of a personal will. So that, and it's not necessary that this will come only in the month of October, October. So for this, there's a dedicated month of October where you will celebrate this. So actually, there will be a sorry, October swags. So Hacktober swag list. So you can come directly to this, and you can see which companies giving out what swags in this particular month of October. There are hundreds and hundreds of companies which come and initiate it, come to my repository, contribute your features, your issues, and we'll give our appreciation, token of appreciation to you, like t-shirts, like swags, like stickers. Then you get bottles, you get a whole package out of it. So it's kind of a appreciation to the developer community. Last year we had, I think, more than 100 plus companies, but this year I guess only 10 or 5 companies are there. I don't know the reason, but yeah, you can come here. I think this is the list for last year's swags. Okay, see this. This is a complete repository based on Hacktober swag list. So you can check out what companies are offering things and so on. So this was it. I think Hacktober swag list. Actual code contribution, wiki, readme, license. Okay, I think I'm done with telling if I have not missed anything. Let me see. Okay. Uh, I think we have done. I may call the host if there's any question.
Hi, so this was a very lovely session by Vishal. Um, a very impactful and power packed session. We do have questions that we would like you to take. So, Priyanshu has asked us if you could explain the difference between Git and VCS. Priyanshu, we're actually having a session on VCS tomorrow. We hope you'll be joining us there. So, Vishal, for someone who's new to open source, what would you recommend and how would you recommend them to start with?
Okay. Uh, am I audible? No.
Yeah, you're audible, Vishal.
Okay. 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 So, open source, beginner to open source. So, I would say start by looking at the codes. First, take time, take few days, few months to start reading the code, and then you can, actually contribute to people whose repositories, suppose you have a good hold in HTML, JavaScript, and CSS. That's how I started. So if you have a good hold in these web technologies, start looking for projects which only have these, so that you contribute and then you start gaining confidence. And then you can move on to higher technologies like CI/CD, and then more Docker clients. Just like start reading code basically.
Thank you so much, Vishal. I guess you've driven us all, including me, to check GitHub and pitch in actively with Hacktoberfest as well. Um, so with this, we come to the closure of today's session. Thank you all for your time and support, and thank you, speakers, for your knowledge and encouragement. Have a great day, you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.